When it comes to understanding the subtle language of love spoken by avoidant individuals, the focus often shifts from overt declarations to understated acts of care. For someone with an avoidant attachment style, expressing affection openly can feel overwhelming, leaving them to rely on small, quiet gestures that speak volumes if observed closely. These subtle acts of care are not only a reflection of their feelings, but also a testament to their internal struggle to balance their need for independence with their desire to connect. Avoidance may not be the ones to shout their love from the rooftops or indulge in grand displays of affection, but they often excel in noticing the little things. They may remember how you like your coffee, the song you hummed absent-mindedly, or the book you mentioned wanting to read. These seemingly minor details reveal their attentiveness and the value they place on understanding what makes you happy. In their world, love isn't a loud, dramatic force. It's a quiet undercurrent that flows through actions, no matter how small. There's no need to speak a word of praise between us. Love knows what needs to be said and does it without contradiction. And that's what matters most. Consider this scenario. An avoidant partner notices you had a long day and places your favorite snack on the counter without saying a word. They won't necessarily ask about your day outright or delve into an emotional conversation, but their effort to anticipate your needs showcases their care. These moments may be easy to overlook, especially if you're accustomed to more expressive displays of affection, but they are the heart of how avoidants communicate love. One of the most telling signs of an avoidance affection is their willingness to inconvenience themselves for your benefit. They might drive out of their way to help you with a task, fix something in your home, or offer support when you're feeling down, even if they don't articulate their emotions. These acts might not come with a verbal acknowledgement of their intentions, but they stem from a place of deep care and consideration. For an avoidant, actions often carry the emotional weight they find challenging to convey through words. It's also important to note that avoidants thrive on consistency in their subtle acts of care. They may not shower you with constant attention, but their behavior over time is a strong indicator of their feelings. If they regularly check in on you, offer help when needed, or make time for you despite their busy schedule, it's a sign that you're significant to them. Their steady presence and reliability, even in a reserved manner, reflect their commitment to nurturing the relationship in a way that feels safe and manageable to them. However, interpreting these gestures requires patience and understanding. It's easy to misread an avoidance reserved nature as disinterest or indifference. The key is to shift your perspective and appreciate the unique ways they express themselves. Avoidants often worry about being overwhelmed or losing their sense of self in a relationship. So their approach to love is cautious and deliberate. When they invest their time and energy in someone, it's a decision they don't take lightly. For instance, an avoidant might prioritize showing up for you during difficult times. They may not always know the right words to say, but their presence and quiet support speak volumes. Whether it's sitting with you in silence or helping you solve a problem, these actions reflect their love and dedication. Avoidants tend to focus on practical ways to make your life easier or better, even if they struggle to articulate their emotions directly. This style of love might seem understated compared to more expressive approaches, but it carries profound meaning for an avoidant individual. Their subtle acts of care often require them to step out of their comfort zone, making these gestures even more significant. Each small action, whether it's remembering an important date, lending a helping hand, or simply being there when you need them, is a reflection of their effort to connect on a deeper level. Now, in relationships with avoidant individuals, it's essential to acknowledge and celebrate these understated forms of affection. Rather than focusing on what they don't do, shift your attention to the ways they show up for you, even if it's in quiet or indirect ways. Building a connection with an avoidant requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to see beyond the surface to the heartfelt intentions behind their actions. As you learn to recognize and appreciate these subtle acts of care, you also cultivate a deeper understanding of your partner's emotional world. This mutual understanding can pave the way for greater intimacy and trust, allowing both of you to navigate the complexities of the relationship with grace and compassion. In the end, love is not defined by its volume, but by its authenticity. And an avoidant's subtle expressions of care are as genuine as they come. When you're in a relationship with someone who has an avoidant attachment style, understanding their behavior can sometimes feel like cracking a code. One of the most crucial signs that an avoidant person loves you is their ability to protect your independence while simultaneously wanting to share their life with you. This can be confusing because at first glance it might seem like they're distant or emotionally unavailable. However, what's really happening is that they deeply care about your space and freedom, even if they don't always express it directly. In many ways, this protective instinct toward your independence is their way of showing love. And so, for avoidance, the idea of merging completely with another person can feel overwhelming. They may have a fear of losing themselves or being smothered in a relationship. That doesn't mean they don't want a partner. It simply means that their idea of a loving relationship involves maintaining a sense of individuality. Instead of expecting you to be glued to them at all times, they value the space you both need to grow as individuals. They respect the idea that you have your own life, interests, and passions outside of the relationship, and they do not want to take that away from you. This ability to let you be yourself without feeling threatened by your independence is in itself a sign of their love and respect for you. This level of understanding about the need for personal space might manifest in different ways. For example, they might not bombard you with constant text messages or require you to check in with them all the time. They don't need to know your every move, because they trust that you're capable of taking care of yourself. While this can be a difficult dynamic for someone who craves constant connection, it can also be incredibly healthy. An avoidant partner won't feel the need to control or monitor your actions. Instead, they offer you the freedom to live your life and hope that you do the same for them. Another key factor in how avoidants show love is through their respect for your boundaries. They may not always express their feelings verbally, but they will demonstrate a clear respect for your personal space. If you're someone who enjoys time alone or has certain boundaries around how much you share emotionally, an avoidant partner will likely understand and accept those boundaries. This respect for your individuality is a form of love in and of itself. They are telling you without words that they care about your well-being and that your needs matter to them just as much as their own. Grown Husband Podcast is truly about living through the challenge instead of avoiding the problem the spouse desperately wants to hit. One might wonder how this plays out in the long term. Over time, an avoidant partner's respect for your independence may actually create a stronger foundation for the relationship. The reason is simple. When two people are allowed to be themselves, free of judgment or pressure, they are more likely to come together in a way that's genuine. Instead of clinging to each other out of necessity, they connect because they choose to. In this sense, love for an avoidant isn't about constant presence, but about the quality of the connection they share with you when they are present. The reality is that love doesn't always look like an emotional roller coaster of intensity and drama. Sometimes it's more subtle than that. And avoidance love may look like quiet moments of respect and patience, allowing the relationship to grow at its own pace without rushing or forcing things. They will show up when you need them, but they won't pressure you into emotional exchanges that you're not ready for. They understand that relationships take time, and they're comfortable with letting things develop naturally. At the same time, an avoidant's ability to respect your independence also reflects their own need for autonomy. It's not that they don't want to be close to you, they just don't want to lose themselves in the process. This balancing act can be challenging, but when an avoidant loves someone, they often find ways to make it work. Their respect for your personal space isn't a sign of emotional distance. Rather, it's their way of showing that they trust you and value your individuality. They love you enough to let you be you, and just as they hope you'll love them enough to let them be themselves. There's a sense of security that comes with knowing that an avoidant partner values your personal growth and supports your independence. You don't have to worry about being controlled or losing your identity in the relationship. Instead, you can focus on growing together, each in your own way, while still maintaining a strong and loving bond. This ability to give each other space while staying emotionally connected is one of the hallmarks of a healthy relationship with an avoided person. If you find yourself in a relationship with someone who has an avoidant attachment style, it's important to recognize that their love is just as valid and deep as any other form of love. While it may not always come across in the same way as more overtly affectionate types of love, the respect and care they show through their actions can speak volumes. As you think about choosing, by acknowledging and appreciating the unique ways in which avoidants express love, you can build a deeper, more fulfilling relationship based on mutual respect, understanding, and personal growth. When you're in a relationship with someone who has an avoidant attachment style, one of the most telling signs of their affection is the way they open up to you when it matters most. While avoidants often keep their emotions close to the chest, they will express themselves and share their true feelings when they feel they can trust you completely. This vulnerability, though not always easy for them to exhibit, becomes one of the most powerful ways they communicate their love. When an avoidant partner lets their guard down, it's a clear indication that they care deeply about you and are beginning to trust you on a level that goes beyond surface interactions. Be trying to have the best sexual relationship and the best sex life you can. Be trying to have sex life. Avoidants typically have a fear of being hurt, and this fear often leads them to keep their emotions tightly controlled. This can make them appear distant or emotionally unavailable at times. However, the fact that they are willing to let you into their inner world, even if it's only in small doses, is a significant and meaningful act. It's not something they take lightly. They don't open up to just anyone because they fear being rejected or judged. But when they do choose to share their true feelings, it's often a sign of deep affection and trust. Their vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to their love for you. The process of an avoidant person opening up emotionally may happen gradually. It might start with small, seemingly insignificant moments where they express their thoughts or share a personal experience that they've kept hidden. As you continue to nurture the relationship, they may become more comfortable with sharing more about their hopes, fears, and past experiences. The Bible says we become more comfortable with sharing more about their hopes, fears, and past experience. These moments of emotional sharing are often carefully measured, and they might not come with the same intensity or frequency that you would experience with someone who has a secure attachment style. However, when they do choose to open up, it's a big deal. It's their way of saying, I trust you, and I want you to be part of my world. It's important to remember that avoidant individuals typically don't share their emotions easily. In fact, they may sometimes feel overwhelmed by their own feelings and may not always know how to express them. So when they do, it's essential to create a safe and non-judgmental space for them to open up. Avoidants need reassurance that they won't be criticized, rejected, or pressured to divulge more than they're ready to share. They're looking for someone who will listen and support them without pushing them to reveal more than they feel comfortable with. This understanding and patience on your part will help them feel more at ease with being emotionally vulnerable, and in turn, they will continue to open up over time. One of the reasons avoidants might share their feelings with you is because they've reached a point where they trust you enough to be vulnerable. This might come after you've proven that you respect their space, that you understand their need for independence, and that you don't take their emotional distance personally. When an avoidant person feels safe in the relationship, they'll often start to let their guard down in small but meaningful ways. It might be a simple comment about something that matters to them, a brief mention of a past experience, or even a subtle admission of their feelings for you. In those moments, they're giving you a glimpse into their emotional world, showing you that they trust you enough to let you in. The fact that they choose to express themselves in these subtle ways rather than being overtly emotional or demanding is a reflection of how deeply they care. They're not seeking validation or affection in the same way someone with a different attachment style might. Instead, they're looking for someone who will patiently accept them and allow them to express their feelings at their own pace. Truthfully, I don't know that all Americans appreciate my love language as much as this form of emotional intimacy may not always look like the typical romantic gestures, but it's no less powerful. It's a testament to the depth of their love when they choose to share their heart with you despite their inherent fear of vulnerability. As the relationship deepens, you may notice that the more secure your bond becomes, the more your avoidant partner will open up. They might start sharing their emotions in ways that were previously difficult for them, allowing themselves to express love, affection, and care more freely. They may still need their space and independence, but over time they'll come to rely on you more emotionally, trusting you with their innermost thoughts. These moments of openness, though they may still feel guarded or hesitant at times, are powerful signs that your avoidant partner is in love with you. They are choosing to let you into their life, to let you see the parts of them that they normally keep hidden from the world. It's essential to recognize these small acts of emotional sharing as expressions of love, even if they seem understated or unconventional. For an avoidant, being vulnerable takes an immense amount of courage, and when they choose to share their true feelings with you, it's an intimate gift. It's an indication that they're letting you in, that they trust you, and that they see a future with you in it. This level of emotional intimacy is not something they give lightly, and it should be valued and appreciated as a profound sign of affection. Over time, as the relationship continues to build on this trust and emotional connection, you will likely see your avoidant partner become more open and willing to share their feelings with you, creating a deeper and more meaningful bond. When an avoidant person truly loves you, one of the key signs is the way they prioritize your happiness and well-being in their own way. Although avoidants are often misunderstood as being distant or emotionally detached, the truth is that when they care about someone, they show it through actions more than words. Their love language may not always be the traditional expressions of affection, but it often comes through in thoughtful gestures that reflect their deep care and commitment. One of the reasons why an avoidant partner might demonstrate their love through actions instead of verbal declarations is because they may not feel entirely comfortable expressing their feelings openly. This discomfort with vulnerability can lead them to rely on practical ways of showing their affection, like taking care of you in moments of need or making small sacrifices that show how much they care. It's not that they don't want to be affectionate, it's just that their attachment style has made them more likely to show their love in more subtle, meaningful ways that might not be as outwardly emotional as someone with a more secure attachment style. For example, you might notice that an avoidant partner will make sure you're taken care of when you're sick, even if they don't say much about it. They may not be the type to offer constant compliments or express their feelings in elaborate ways, but when it matters most, they show up in ways that demonstrate how much you mean to them. These actions, whether it's helping you with tasks, providing support during tough times, or simply being present when you need them, are all signs that they care deeply. They're investing in the relationship, showing you that even though they may not always verbalize their emotions, they're still there for you. This behavior can be confusing at times because it may seem like they're not as affectionate or loving as you might expect, but it's important to recognize that for an avoidant, love is often expressed through actions and consistency rather than words. They may not constantly shower you with praise or engage in public displays of affection, but when they do choose to act in ways that benefit you, they are demonstrating their love in a way that feels safe and comfortable for them. The priority they place on your well-being is a significant indication that they love you, even if it's not always expressed in the ways you might anticipate. These small but meaningful acts are often their way of showing that they value you and want to make sure you're happy and secure. When an avoidant person is in love, they invest time, effort, and energy into making sure their partner feels supported and cared for. While they may not always open up emotionally, their actions are a reflection of their deep affection and commitment. For avoidance, their love is often shown through the way they navigate the challenges of the relationship. They may not be as open with their feelings, but they'll find ways to compromise or make adjustments to ensure the relationship continues to thrive. They may not be the type to express their love loudly or consistently, but when they make an effort to support you or make your life easier, it's a sign that they're in love. The fact that they're willing to go out of their way to demonstrate care shows how much they truly value the relationship. Additionally, an avoidant who loves you will often give you the space you need without pulling away completely. They understand the importance of maintaining a healthy balance between independence and connection. While their need for space may seem like emotional distance, it is actually an expression of their love. They recognize that both partners in the relationship need to have their individual lives and space to grow, and they respect that boundary. In their own way, they are making an effort to maintain a healthy dynamic where both of you feel supported and understood. And there is nothing more for the spouse to feel cared for, to be seen, and to have their own narrative served. And so God would not forget them. The key to understanding an avoidance love is recognizing that it might not always look like the conventional form of affection you might expect. It's not about grand gestures or constant verbal affirmations of love, but about consistent actions that show their care, commitment, and willingness to be there for you. Their love may be quieter, less overt, but it's no less meaningful. When an avoidant partner prioritizes your happiness, makes sacrifices for your well-being, and continues to show up for you even when it's not easy for them, it's a powerful demonstration of love. In relationships with avoidance, it's important to appreciate the ways in which they express their love, even if it doesn't always align with your expectations. Their love may come with a quieter intensity, and their gestures may not always be as overt as other attachment styles. However, the actions they take to care for you, prioritize your needs, and make sure you feel loved and supported are clear signs that they love you deeply. By understanding these subtle expressions of love, you can create a deeper, more fulfilling connection with your avoidant partner, one that honors both their need for independence and the deep affection they have for you. Ultimately, their love for you is evident in the ways they show up for you when it matters most, even if they don't always express it with words.